Namaste. The topic of today's video is brain-based holistic learning. How do you remember your parents, your family, your friends, etc.? How is it that even without you realizing it, you're breathing all the time? What is it that makes you feel happy, sad, anxious, stressed, etc.? The answer to that is your brain. Your brain is in fact in charge of all these things and a lot more. Brain is the organ of our body that controls other parts of the body. And it also controls everything that we do. Brain has many parts and cerebrum is the biggest part of that, and we have two hemispheres. Cerebrum is divided to the left side and the right side. The left side is known as the left part of the brain, and the right side is the right part of the brain. The right part of the brain controls the left part of the body, and the left part of the brain controls the right part of the body. Now, brain consists of microscopic cells which are known as neurons. Brain cells are known as neurons, and there are billions of neurons in our brain. And why am I talking about brain is because this organ is connected to our learning. Now, when we learn something, a new knowledge is acquired, or a new skill is, we are trying to learn a new skill. What happens is that there are connections are created between the neurons, and these connections, if we keep on doing these activities, if we keep doing this activity again and again, what happens is that a pathway is created between these neurons, and when the pathway is created, we remember those things and we don't forget those things. So that important is our neurons and our brain. Now, the more our brain creates these pathways, the more we learn. When we are talking about brain, most of us, like when we did our teaching practice or our Bachelor of Education, the neuroscience was not included in that. Though the brain was the most important organ that was doing the job of learning, memory, etc. But how our learning is connected, how the learning and the brain is connected, how the neuroscience is connected was not taught to us. So most of us who are in the teaching line, we are actually not aware of how the learning takes place inside the brain of a child, or for that matter when we start learning developing a skill, how do we develop the skill most optimally. So if we actually know about the working of the brain and the neurotransmitters or the chemicals kind of that are produced inside the brain, then it will be easy for us, not only for the parents, not only for the teachers, but also for the parents and the children as well, because we understand what is happening inside our brain. So we can modify our teaching learning process according to that. Now, it is not only the way we learn that is controlled by the brain. What we do, our movement, everything is controlled by the brain. But with that, our emotions are also controlled by the brain. That is, whether we feel happy, sad, worried, stress, etc. All these are controlled by neurotransmitters that are produced. So we also know that our emotions have a big impact on the way we learn, how much we learn, and how it affects our memory. All these things are dependent on our emotions. So when you feel threatened or worried, your brain is programmed to trigger or release chemicals such as cortisol and adrenaline, which are stress hormones which are produced by the adrenal glands. So when little bit of the stress hormone is good for your learning, but if these stress hormones are produced in large amounts, then your brain is not able to accept the learning or to accept the teaching that is happening inside the class. So basically what I'm trying to say is that the brain has to be in a happy and peaceful mode and in a relaxed mode, then only maximum learning takes place. So in addition to this, there are other factors also that has to be taken into consideration, not only the emotions and the neurotransmitters, but other factors like water. Water is very important. So why I'm bringing all these points is that what is happening is that inside the classroom, many of the classes, what is happening is that with my experience, what I have seen is that many children are bored, struggling, disengaged, and thousands of them are not able to achieve what they are supposed to learn at that particular age. So to address these issues, why children are bored, why children are struggling, why children are disengaged, and why children are not interested in learning, there may be various factors. There may be physical factors, there may be psychological factors, psychological environment of the class, the physical environment of the class. All these things matter a lot when the child is learning. So in addition to the emotions, what is important is that a balanced diet. The child should have had a balanced diet. Balanced diet in the sense that not too much of sugar and too much of salt. Both too much of sugar and too much of salt is not good for the child's brain. So then the optimal learning doesn't happen. And the child has to have water. He has to have water. Then what the child needs is that the brain needs to have oxygen. So that if there is a depletion in oxygen, then the optimal learning doesn't take place. Or the physical factors, the environment is too hot or too cold, then the child brain is not able to process. The optimal learning is not able to take place. So what I'm trying to say is that there are lots of factors that affects a child's learning. So if we are able to understand what factors are affecting why the child is not able to learn exactly, if we are able to just switch on and switch off the neurotransmitters, or engage the different parts of the brain at different times for learning, for memory, then the optimal learning or the effective learning takes place. Most of us would have observed in our class that many children, they are, when you are teaching a subject, they will be bored, they will be disengaged, they will be disinterested, and some of them will be distracted and not interested in that. So why is it that happening? So if we are aware of what exactly is happening inside their brains, then we can address those issues and make maximum learning happen. Now, overcoming these problems in learning requires actually understanding the brain and the brain science and the cognitive development of the children, because brain is central to the learning process. So, especially in the 21st century, because we talk about critical thinking, problem solving, the thing is that most students, parents, and teachers, they are not aware of all this, and they'll know, even if they're aware, though they know little about the organs we work most with, they work most with. So, if little bit of knowledge is given to the teachers, to parents, then I think we should be able to do effective teaching and learning. Now, see, what is important inside a class is engaging the children, catching the attention of the children, and whatever they have learned, they have to, it has to, most of it has to go into the long-term memory, and then children had to enjoy. So if all these factors are there, if you are engaged properly, if you are getting attention of the children, if you are able to, if the children are able to, memorize what has been learned, and then there is joy and happiness in your class, or in the way you engage your class, then maximum learning takes place. Now there is a lot of research going on neuroscience, on cognitive development and all. Recently, I read a book, and the title of the book is "Make It Stick: The Science of Learning." Science of Successful Learning, not Science of Learning, the Science of Successful Learning. It is written by Brown, Rodiger, and McDaniels, and it's a wonderful book about, it actually gives, it breaks a lots of myths that we follow in our classes, in our teaching learning process. And today I'm going to discuss a few points from that book. The first point that was given in that book is that for children to learn something effectively and to have that, whatever they have learned, to have that in their long-term memory, it is the method of review is not the effective one, but the method of retrieval is the effective one. Now, what I mean by a review and a retrieval, review is like when I was a student, what our teachers used to tell us is that suppose you want to make something, you want to become proficient in a subject, for example English or science or social science or something, we should read that again and again. If there is a lesson or some concept or a definition that you want to learn, then you should go on reading it again and again, and you should underline it, or you should mark it with a marker, so that when you're looking at that again and again, you are able to remember that. But it seems that is a myth, and review doesn't work as good as retrieval. So if you really want to learn something and have it in your long-term memory, the method that you have to follow is that you should read it once or twice, and then the teacher should give the children opportunity to retrieve it from their memory. So the activities that you are giving to the children should be in such a manner that the child is able to go into his memory and then try to retrieve it. For example, it can be in the form of a quiz. You give a topic, you teach a topic, a content or something, that topic is over, and then you give a small slip test. A small test or a small quiz or a small fill in the blanks, for example, or it can be an oral question answer session also, so that the child is able to, you are asking the child to retrieve it from his memory, his or her memory. So that method is the more effective method. That is what cognitive scientists have found out now. Then this can be done actually in different ways. It can be in the form of a quiz. It can also be given in the form of flashcards, or journaling also is very effective method. It means you write it down somewhere, whatever you have learned it, you write it down somewhere and then you revisit it. Or teachers can make flashcards and then write the answers at the back and then ask the children what is the answer to that particular question or that particular concept, whatever you are teaching, and then answer is at the back, and then see to it that the child is able to retrieve it from his own memory, his or her own memory. So that is one myth that is broken, that is retrieval is always better than review. Now second thing that is a very it's a very good book, and the second important method of learning that is given in the book is that there should be spacing between your teaching. That is, if you're teaching a topic, you teach that topic for some time and then give a brain break. So I would like to call it a brain break. Give a brain break to the child so that whatever you have taught goes into the memory, and then you let the mind forget it for some time, and then you come back and then again you teach the topic or you discuss that topic. So there should be that spacing technique works very well with the children. It's with the brain of the children. So this is what unknowingly I used to follow with my own children. That is when they were in class 10th and 12th, there was a lot of things that they had, lots of things that they had to learn to prepare for the examinations. So what I used to tell them is that you study for some time, around 1 hour or so, and then you take a break. It can be a snack break, it can be a it can be you can play something, play cards or something, or you can just do nothing, you can just watch television, or you can just sleep for some time, and then you again go back and revisit those topics. Then the learning is more effective, it seems. So spacing is very important. In a proper school or a classroom, this can be done on a daily basis. That is, morning you can have a subject, mathematics or English or Hindi or whatever subject you are teaching, and then after that period you can have a brain break or kind of a games period or some art period or some other that is completely different from what you have learned. What subject you have learned, completely different from that, and then you go back again. It can also be done on a weekly basis. It can also be done monthly or after 2 months. So this technique is very effective, it seems. The third technique, what they say that works well for learning, for maximum learning and for also for the memory, is giving varied experiences to the children. The experiences that are that you are giving to the children should not be monotonous. It should not be the same experience all the time. A few years back, excuse me, it was in the education field, it was told that there are different kinds of learners. Like there are some children who will learn best if you give them auditory inputs. For some children, they will learn best when you give them visual inputs. For some children, they will learn best when they are kinesthetic inputs. So those kinds of activities should be planned for them. So now the research has proven that it is easy for children are comfortable, it is easy for children to learn with the method, you know, that they are most comfortable with. Suppose I am an auditory learner, I will learn it. I will learn it. I am more comfortable with it, but my optimum learning or my maximum learning or my long term learning will take place with a combination of all these methods. So we should focus on lots of experiences for the children, lots of varied experiences, not the same kind of experiences. For example, if it is a vocabulary class, you can give a dictation sometime, you can give a puzzle sometimes, you can give match the following sometimes, you can give some other kind of, you know, there are different kinds of activities that you can do inside the class with the children for developing the vocabulary. So these are the three myths that I wanted to discuss. Hope this video will be useful to all the teachers and parents who are engaging their classes and who want the children to learn and who want to engage their classes in the most effective manner.